Welcome to Quiz It with Faabul. Today's episode is all about Earth Day, a global event that reminds us to protect our planet and take care of the environment. Let's test your knowledge and learn some surprising facts along the way. Let's start with question number 1. What was the original purpose of the first Earth Day in 1970? Was it to celebrate nature, protest environmental destruction, plant trees, or clean up beaches? All of these are things we associate with Earth Day today, but the very first event had a more specific goal. The correct answer is protest environmental destruction. The first Earth Day was organized in the United States as a large-scale protest against pollution, oil spills, and environmental damage. It helped raise awareness and led to major environmental laws and the creation of the Environmental Protection Agency. Moving on to question number 2. Which country is the world's largest producer of renewable energy? Germany, the United States, Denmark, or China? Several countries are leaders in clean energy, especially in wind and solar power. The correct answer is China. China produces more renewable energy than any other country, especially in solar and wind power. While it still uses fossil fuels, it is also investing heavily in green energy technologies. Now for question number 3. What percentage of Earth's freshwater is locked in glaciers and ice caps? About 29%, 53%, 69%, or 91%? Freshwater is limited, and most of it isn't easily accessible. The correct answer is about 69%. Most of the world's freshwater is frozen in glaciers and polar ice caps, mainly in Antarctica and Greenland. That leaves only a small portion available in rivers, lakes, and underground sources. Let's continue with question number 4. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is approximately how large? The size of Texas, Alaska, India, or twice the size of Texas? It's often described in shocking comparisons, but the real scale can be hard to imagine. The correct answer is twice the size of Texas. This massive area of floating plastic waste is located in the Pacific Ocean. It's not a solid island, but a huge collection of debris spread across a large region. Now for question number 5. Which animal is responsible for pollinating approximately 1/3 of the food we eat? Bats, bees, butterflies, or hummingbirds? Several animals help with pollination, but one plays a much bigger role than the others. The correct answer is bees. Bees are essential for pollinating crops like fruits, vegetables, and nuts. Without them, food production would be much more difficult, which is why protecting bee populations is so important. Let's move on to question number 6. Which of these ecosystems stores the most carbon per acre? Tropical rainforests, mangrove forests, grasslands, or temperate forests? All of these ecosystems help absorb carbon dioxide, but one is especially powerful. The correct answer is mangrove forests. Mangroves store large amounts of carbon in both their trees and the soil beneath them. They are also important for protecting coastlines and supporting marine life. Next is question number 7. How many years does it take for a plastic bottle to decompose in the ocean? 50 years, 100 years, 450 years, or it never fully decomposes? Plastic breaks down very slowly, but not always in the way people expect. The correct answer is 450 years. A plastic bottle can take around 450 years to break down in the ocean. Even then, it doesn't fully disappear. It breaks into tiny pieces called microplastics, which can remain in the environment for much longer and even enter the food chain. Now for question number 8. How much of the world's coral reefs have been lost in the last 50 years? About 10%, 25%, 50%, or 75%? Coral reefs are some of the most diverse ecosystems on Earth, but they are also very fragile. The correct answer is about 50%. Half of the world's coral reefs have been lost due to climate change, pollution, and overfishing. This affects marine life and also the communities that depend on reefs for food and protection. Let's continue with question number 9. Which everyday activity uses the most water in an average household? Toilet flushing, showering, washing dishes, or laundry? We use water constantly, often without thinking about how much. The correct answer is toilet flushing. In many households, toilets account for the largest share of indoor water use. That's why water-efficient systems can make a big difference. And finally, question number 10. Which species is considered a keystone species because removing them would dramatically change their entire ecosystem? Pandas, sea otters, tigers, or elephants? Several animals are important, but a keystone species has an especially strong impact. The correct answer is sea otters. Sea otters help control sea urchin populations, which in turn protects kelp forests. Without otters, the entire ecosystem can collapse, showing just how important one species can be. And that brings us to the end of today's Earth Day quiz. From oceans and forests to animals and everyday habits, every small action can make a difference. Thanks for listening to Quiz It with Faabul. Until next time, stay curious and take care of our planet.